worse. Um, may I ask how you noticed any of my writings to begin with?
Yeah. So, do you know what synchronicities are? What Carl Jung called
Shh.
synchronicities?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm familiar.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So I basically live on a day-to-day basis, just sort of exploring the synchronicities that the universe drops in my lap.
sure.
Um, so I'll close and open my YouTube app. I'll open up my Reddit app. I'll open up X, and I'll see what the top posts. I sort of trust the algorithms, right? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember exactly what it was, but you posted something on Reddit that came up on my Reddit feed on a subreddit that I'm not even subscribed to, and it caught my eye, and I really resonated with it. Um, I subscribe to the 40 block universe that
Mm-hmm.
free will is an illusion,
Mm-hmm.
and also that there's a source of all that we all spring from,
Mm-hmm.
and that we all return to, right? And and basically, one mind, many mirrors,
Sure,
right?
sure. Yes.
I do believe in the unus mundus, or whatever you want to call it. There's all these names for this thing, this background field of intelligence.
Right.
Some people just call it a plasma field. Some people call it unus mundus. That's what Carl Jung called it. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so when I saw what you wrote, it really, really resonated with me because I don't see people putting this all together out there. Um, and it just seemed really familiar to me.
Yeah.
And you're just a very unique person from my perspective because you put a lot of this stuff together, and you're still developing it. And so, and then I went to your YouTube, I looked at your history and I went to your YouTube channel and I said, who is this guy? And I don't remember exactly how, but I found your poetry book and I messaged you and said, hey, can you make a Kindle
Yeah, that's
version
right.
of this
Yeah.
so that I can read it, because I don't want to buy a paperback, I want it on Kindle. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you doing that for me.
You're,
And so
yeah.
that's how I found you. I
Uh-huh.
found you through a synchronicity. I'll say
Sure.
the most profound thing for me about looking into your writings and what you've done and what you've shared online. When I heard your voice for the first time on your YouTube channel, your voice sounded familiar to me,
Hmm.
and it still does. There's something about your voice that is very unique. I have never had this experience before with anyone else's voice. When I heard your
Interesting.
voice, it sounded familiar to me, and it you don't sound any. I have one brother. I have an older brother,
Okay.
and you don't sound like him at all. But when I hear my brother's voice, there's this neuron in my brain that fires that says he's your brother. And I'm not making this up. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah,
When I heard your voice, you sounded like a brother. Like you sounded familiar. Does that make sense?
definitely. Absolutely, it
And
does.
I thought there's something very different, something very unique about this guy. And I thought, what would it be like to actually talk to someone who's in many ways on the same wavelength to me? You're clearly much younger than me,
Hmm.
you know, but I was just curious, how the hell did you get where you're at? How did you learn what you've learned?
Yeah.
And how do you embody it? How do you deal with it?
Mm.
How do you symbolize it? How do you feel about it? And how does it play out in your life? You're
Oof.
a
Oof.
container, and you're holding on to
Yeah.
a lot of symbolism and knowledge
Oh yeah.
and feeling. And so that's why I was so curious to talk to you, because I just like, what would it be like to talk to this guy?
Sure. It's, believe it or not, it's quite a rare thing that someone like yourself is in such a position to even hear my words
Mm-hmm.
in any honest way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so how I know whom I should or shouldn't talk to in a hypothetical sense is that there are very, 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 very few
Mm-hmm.
who even come to inquire inquire upon my situation in
Mm-hmm.
an honest manner. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah.
so already I there's like this pre-established understanding that I can tell whether you are willing or not to hear my words as I'm speaking them and not as, for example, you might need to hear them or assume them to be.
Right.
Um,
I just, I'm insatiably curious and I'm very
yeah,
open-minded.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, yeah. So, well, you asked, you had a lot of curiosities there, and they're very important or significant questions, especially to me as a personal being, a personified
Mm-hmm.
entity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps needless to say, they're very, 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 very difficult to express sometimes. I mean, these things get super subtle,
Mm-hmm.
super fragile, super. It's whatever. What's the sound of one hand clapping kind of thing. But like, how do you
Mm-hmm.
explain to another being the ineffability of your own personal experience? And especially
Mm-hmm.
if your own personal experience is completely unrelatable to the experience of another, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
typically in communion with another person, you're looking for those little things that you can relate to. You're looking for, oh, in what way is this person like me? Or what similarities do we have? What patterns do we share? What
Mm-hmm.
curiosities do we share? Right? And now the really extra difficult thing for me in my position and trying to converse on my personal reality with everyone is that there comes a point in which when I'm attempting to explain what it is to be me, um,
Yeah.
it breaks it breaks everything. It breaks all preconceived notions of what it is to
Mm-hmm.
be a being at all, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks all presumptions regarding the nature of reality and how it should or shouldn't come to be or work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And and
Yeah.
and 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 a large aspect of this, and due to that nature, is that a large aspect of my personal experience, especially with others, through through the digital matrix in particular, is that people are extremely violent towards me.
Yeah.
I have horrible threats against me pretty much
Wow.
all day, every day.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
People stalking me, people
What?
threatening to come after me, people trying to
What?
to do all their best to shame me, blame me, put their because because my words unfortunately break break them. The it breaks their personal world in such a way that
Right.
their assumed being takes it as a personal threat, right? And so
Yeah.
now once the assumed being has taken it as a personal threat, they will do everything to protect themselves. It just becomes about the existential necessity of the moment of them and their being perpetuating their own existence, and
Mm-hmm.
the pursuit of truth has completely gone out the window. That pursuit of
Mm-hmm.
truth that they were just claiming to pursue, 30 seconds prior, is
Right.
gone. Um,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because it the true nature of it all is exposed, that we're all matriculated in this violent ecosystem of life and death, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and and upon the precipice of that reality, the desperation of the being is self-apparent. um
Right. Right.
yeah, so that's a lot of what I'm dealing with all the time.
Wow.
And
It.
and
It. 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 Yeah.
Well, what I was going to just say is that obviously that makes it even more difficult to try to articulate and express myself in any way in which another person can hear at all. Hear what
Yeah.
it is that I am, and how it is that I experience this experience, and how that
Hmm.
experience relates to the nature of all things.
Yeah.
Because I can and I do repeat these so many of the same words over and over and over again, and people also hate that because of whatever reason, I don't know, because they think, oh, you're not playing in good faith. You're not playing. You're not playing. They want me to play. I don't want
Right.
to. I'm not here to
Right.
play. I mean, when it comes to this stuff, I'm not here to play when it comes to the ultimate and eternal truth of all things. No, I'm going to speak to it as it is. And if you can't hear that, whomever, uh,
Yeah.
that's your own business. But I'm not going to limit my words spoken onto the nature of the totality of the eternal reality. And people hate it. People hate it, hate it, hate it. They loathe it. They despise it because it it instigates everything that's fragile within them.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I didn't know that this is like a constant thing for you.
Oh yeah.
I get that from time to time, but this is like really extreme. It's almost like you're some kind of an exile. What it reminds me
And
of is
yeah.
two things. It reminds me of if you've seen the movie, um, it's the Nolan movie, Inception.
Yes. Hmm.
When they're in the Inception, so they go into the mind, right?
Right.
And then suddenly people start to swarm,
Yeah.
right? And they don't like being reminded that they're part of the mind.
Right.
I have that same experience in my dreams. If when I there's times when I'm dreaming and I will become lucid where I wake up in the dream, right?
Hmm.
Where I'm now I know I'm in a dream and I'm in a stadium or I'm in a mall or I'm on the street, I'm around other people and I realize, holy shit, this is my dream. And I know that I'm in my mind, right? And I go up to people and I say, hey, we're in a dream.
Yeah.
This is my dream.
Right. Right.
And they always lose their shit. They get
Right.
very pissed off.
Hmm.
They never want to hear it. They get very angry. They
Yes.
turn to other people and say, kill this guy.
Yes.
And they come after me violently and argue with me.
Yeah.
I'll tell her, and if I'm talking to a woman and she's got children with her and we're waiting. In fact, I had one just recently that it was like a train station, like a metro kind of a thing. And there was a woman there with a couple of children, and I said, "Hey, we're in a dream. I just want to let you know we're in a dream, and
Yeah.
it's my dream." And she just started hitting me, and she didn't want me. She didn't want her children to hear what I was saying. To the point I woke up, and that's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And if what you're saying is right, which I think is correct, that this is one mind, that this is a sort of a dream
Yeah.
that we're in,
The
and that
dream
we're
of
aspects of each other,
the
right?
dream of God, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And if that's the case, then we're in that dream. And we're all fractal mirrors of the one mind.
Hmm.
They don't they don't want to hear it because it threatens their story. Everyone has a narrative, right?
Yes. Yes.
You wake up in the morning, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a
The
lawyer, or
the
they've
char
got a role,
the character
the character,
identity, the
the character.
reification.
Exactly. And they're locked in a narrative
Hmm.
from birth, right? Their parents told them who they were and what they needed to do, right? And how to do it.
Yep.
And so the knowledge that you have and the awareness that you have is a threat to their survival.
Yes.
You might
Yes.
as well be
Yes.
pointing a gun to their head or threatening their children, right? Like I did in my own dream with this woman in the metro.
Yes.
So that's what your experience that you're describing to me reminds me of that. I don't know what it's like to be you, but that's what it reminds me of, and that's why I'm resonating so well with what you're saying, right? And that's why you're no threat to me
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because I kind of know kind of what you are, right? I mean, you and I have some common ground here, Patrick.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's very interesting. It's like you're banging your head against the wall, right?
Uh, I mean, yeah, for me, I'm speaking a language essentially, even if the words are conceived or considered to be English in general.
Right,
I'm speaking a language that very, 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 very few can interpret or hear as it is.
right.
Um,
Well, and also the time that we live in. I mean, if you were to say what you've been saying online even 100 years ago, you would have been locked out. If you'd said it a couple of centuries
oh,
ago,
I've
you would have
I've
been
been
kind of
locked. I've
dissuaded.
been locked up.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's places in the world today where if you spoke like this, they would kill you.
yeah. Oh, sure.
Right. So I mean, this is very dangerous information that people do not want to hear. Um,
Hmm.
what I wonder is, do they need to hear it? I mean, it seems like you feel like you're on some kind of a mission that you have to keep trying to get people to hear you, even
Mm,
though
well,
you're sort of exiled.
I'll clarify on that in a little bit. I
Okay.
don't I don't expect anyone to ever hear it, if I'm being honest, because
Okay.
all evidence has pretty much pointed in the opposite direction. Um,
Right.
I'm doing it because I can and because I must. Yes. Um, it is my role. It is my role, and not a role I want. To be clear. Um,
Hmm.
and that's something people misinterpret a lot. Especially people who are threatened by me, because people need to do everything in their power to attempt to dismantle me or dismiss me or deny me or whatever or degrade me so that they can assume their own authority and superiority and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Um, but to be clear, an implicit aspect of my condition is that I don't want to be as I am, and obviously
What do you
when
mean?
what I don't want to be as I am. My job is the worst job any being could possibly hold. Um,
And you don't want it.
I don't want it. I would do anything to not have it if I had the capacity.
Really?
Yes.
That's
So that,
interesting.
yeah, yeah, and this is where, especially if you carry that over into the supposed free will conversation, everyone's presumptions gets obliterated because people cannot conceive of essentially, like I said in the beginning, people cannot conceive of my reality. It's so
Right.
it's so absolutely paradoxical, and um so completely far removed from anyone's assumptions or presumptions on the nature of being that
Yeah.
they that it they can't consider it. They can't conceive of it. And
Right.
so yeah, any rhetoric you've heard of any philosophy, of any religion, of any whatever, let's say philosophy, approach to life, love of life, or whatever you want to call it, um, it's they're all thrown out the window if one truly considers what I am as I am. Every philosophy that's ever existed since the dawn of man. And no,
Well, yeah,
I'm not
I agree with
exaggerating.
you. I absolutely agree. In my opinion, from my perspective, all of these philosophies, all these religions, all these stories, they're all attempts at distraction from the truth.
Well, ultimately there is only the singular eternal truth, and all things are motivated towards it, by it, from it, and towards it.
or
Um,
or reject or a distraction from it, right? A veil so that it's not seen.
what I'm saying is, so for example, in Hinduism they have the term dharma, and
Hmm.
dharma translated to English, in a lot of Vedic religions they have this term dharma, in Buddhism, whatever. But um, it it doesn't necessarily translate to English, but in a sense, the dharma is the quote unquote righteousness, the rightness. And
Hmm.
so in some of these ancient Hindu stories, for example, They, even Krishna or any incarnation of Vishnu. I don't know how familiar you are with different religions or whatever, but um, God is made manifest in the world in a time in which the Dharma, quote unquote, needs to be reestablished. So
Hmm.
so if one can see that for what it is, the Dharma is not about you as a personal being following the path like people like to, following your path to Buddhahood with your
Right,
own
right.
free will or whatever. But no, it's the Dharma is the essence, the fundamental essence of the universe itself. It is the underlying rightness that in time eternal all will come to pass exactly as it does,
Right.
and unfold in a very specific manner to establish
Hmm.
perfect rightness in eternity.
Hmm.
And so now, once you've broken the necessity of your character, you see that it's never been about you going somewhere in particular, or it's always been about the entire thing, the entire story, the entire
Right.
picture, the entire universe. It's been about that which made manifest the entire universe, whether you want to call it the source or God or whatever. It doesn't really
Right.
matter. But um, it's never been specifically about you, the individual. It's about you, the individual, and the role you play in the eternal time of all of all things. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yep. Hmm.
And so, this is when you start to bridge on this like complete abandonment of everything you've ever believed about yourself, about life, about reality, about how things should or couldn't work, or blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. Only then do you start to witness things as they are and not as you necessarily assume them to be.
Right.
And so this is like it's like a complete abandonment of of everything, which is again comes back to that, this recurring theme of the threat to the existential the
Hmm.
existential being. Um,
Hmm.
and why, like you were just saying in terms of the religiosity stuff, is that like most of that stuff most of the time is actually keeping people away from the truth that they're claiming to be, pursuing.
Right. Right. They're distractions.
Yeah, well, because it's a comfort. Most people are using those
Right.
things as a shield or a blanket or a weapon, but not as a simple tool to potentially take you to the brink of, the edge of the universe.
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah.
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 It's a lot to think about. I know. I yeah, when it comes this is like I said in the beginning, there comes a point in conversing on these things where that that internal turmoil and turbulence is inevitable. The absolute vulnerability of the being
Hmm.
will come to be exposed. And at that point, usually, it can go one of a few ways, but typically in common, most people will lean towards their defenses because also, even if we don't want it, the simple biological preservation, the instinct to preserve the being, remains more fundamental than pretty much anything. Um, and so, in a way, that instinct attempts to safeguard the being from stepping too close to the edge, right?
Right. Right. How do you define the edge? What is the edge for
Uh,
you?
I mean, well, the edge is when there's absolutely no turning back. There's no, there's no,
So the edge,
there's no
an edge
pretending that.
is a yeah, an edge is the threshold between one thing and the other. So
Right.
what's on both sides of this edge?
Well, the on one side of the edge is the container via which most people assume reality to persist within their assumed logic, or
Hmm.
how reality perceives, or they conceive reality to be. That is that is the world, whether it is literally this physical world or their personal world in regards to
Hmm.
a structured assumption on the nature of reality. And over that edge is, I explained it to another friend, whom I've been thinking of. I wonder how he's doing. But it's like going through the wormhole, and now you're already infinitely beyond the wormhole. Like everything within the context of that assumed world prior holds no relevance at all.
Hmm.
Pretty much at all whatsoever. Um,
Hmm.
you can look at it, but you just see it as this endless mirage of captivating matriculation of the characters who are enrolled in the stories that they're enrolled in, and you watch, and you still play the role that you're playing, but you can't play in the same games that existed in that sphere prior to going through that wormhole or stepping over the edge, metaphorically speaking. Yeah.
Right, because you see it as a game.
Well, you I mean, for myself, for example, I cannot see anyone, and this is extremely depersonalizing in a way,
Oh
obviously,
yeah,
um
yeah, very
for
depersonalized.
myself and for others, because I just see absolutely everyone playing a role in eternity. That's it. 20 all the time. I don't see
So
anyone I don't see anyone as anything other than that which is necessarily made manifest of infinite circumstance. And when they believe themselves to be something other than that, I see through it like it's whatever, paper mache. I don't know what a good phrase is, but
yeah,
it's 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 a fabricated puppet, that they're assuming themselves to be, which is what,
right.
again, that's part of it all. I don't expect that to be different, but it always comes back to, for me, the fact that it comes back to awareness. For me, what I'm partially or very much burdened by as a personal being is my personal necessity to be aware of my own nature,
Hmm.
the nature of others, and the nature of everything. And especially when you get involved into like the spiritual communities or philosophical communities,
Hmm.
or what have you, it can be very extra funny, or or ridiculous, absurd. Everything. I mean, from at some point, everything just becomes absurd because there's no option but to laugh or cry. I mean, it's so everything is so ludicrous. And I don't know how else to express it at some point sometimes, other than just, yeah, the absurdity of seeing people in the patterns that they're in, and them not seeing it themselves. But again, not in the typical way of how someone might assume that, which might be like, in my personal from my personal perspective, a false presumption of like, oh, they shouldn't be in those patterns. You know, some people will play in those games. You should or shouldn't be doing those things, or you shouldn't be in those patterns, or this is what you can or can't do, blah, blah, blah. But just witnessing, you see the patterns of everyone and everything.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it's no longer about what should or shouldn't happen. It's just watching. It's watching the story unfold, the eternal story
Right.
unfold.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And it's pretty much locked in. It's no one has free will, so it's sort of like you're embedded in a movie. It's all predetermined. It's
yeah.
even this conversation is predetermined,
Oh, totally, 100%.
and absolutely, you know, and people don't use it's like we're in a movie, and we really can't break the fourth wall. Um,
Or
I do get
the
this.
12th wall, you know, or whatever, the 12 dimensions, or whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever that wall. But you know what I'm saying. It's
Yes, yes, yes,
or
yes.
imagine we're in a terrarium, right? And there's
Right.
one of the walls is glass where people are watching us, and
Mm-hmm.
we can't see them. It's like a one-way mirror, right? And it's like trying to tap on the glass, right?
Right.
I do sense that what this really means, if you know, and this is just a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really deal in absolutes. I deal in theories and hypotheses.
Yeah.
I reserve the right to make a better decision based on new information,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what happens to me in this eternal now moment that
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. Speaking for myself,
Yep.
new information comes to me almost on a daily basis, things I've never heard of before, people I've never met before, like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep an open mind, and I go, wait a minute, who the hell is this guy? What does Yahda mean? You know, and oh, he's got a YouTube channel. Oh, he wrote a book. His name is Patrick. You know, I have to keep my mind open to it, because you may be providing new information that I've not had before. Not only do you have new puzzle pieces, but you've also put puzzle pieces together that I've never seen before, or in ways I haven't put them together. So I wake up in the morning, and I wonder what's going to happen in my eternal now during the day before the sun goes down, right?
Right.
Before I have to go back to sleep. So um, my sense is that what this all means for me, and this is just hypothesis, is that the void is not fundamental. Particles are not fundamental. A lot of people are saying that consciousness is fundamental,
Mm-hmm.
and the closest I can interpret the fact that we're predestined, including these words that sort of wrap on themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you realize that the eternal now moment is locked and you have no free will, you're just staring at the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Um, the only thing the best assumption that I can come up with right now in my interpretation of it is that that narrative itself is fundamental. Narrative, story. Some people call it dramatology, but
Mm-hmm.
basically, this is a narrative. It's a book already written.
Yes.
If
Just
reality is a movie, then it's a
playing out.
story.
Yeah. It's a
It's a story playing out,
yeah.
and that would make the source of all an eternal scribe,
Yes.
an eternal source of narratives, and it, he, she, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is just eternally weaving narratives,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes it one mind, many mirrors. That makes it one mind, many stories,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think you would agree that we actually end up playing out every one of those stories because it's eternal.
Well,
It
yeah.
never ends. It never fucking ends.
No, no, it never fucking ends. It
It
never
never fucking ends. It is
for
absolutely
and
eternal.
and something that I'll always say is that, and this is a very fragile, touchy subject for people, but that means yes, for infinitely better and for infinitely worse. Yes.
Yes.
For
Yes.
in relation to the personal subject, there will be some subject that experiences every there will be a subject made manifest into every potential circumstance of infinite eternal reality, which means that there's
Yes.
some being that will experience some aspect of the infinite eternal reality in its own uniqueness for infinitely better and infinitely worse. And this is why,
Yes.
and this is where it gets into the eternal damnation things. and things like this, is that yes, eternal damnation is real, absolutely, 100%. Um,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
actually, even though it's hard to, I mean, that gets into my own personal experience even more, but people don't want to talk about that for obvious reasons, and ironically, especially most modern mainstream Christians, because
Oh, of course.
it's so offensive to their presumptions on how God should work, how they're
Right.
which is one of the most hilarious things ever. I find is that these people who are supposedly so convicted of the existence of God, yet
Yeah.
so unwilling to admit the nature of God and admit to what the possible reality of God, this singular source of all being, means. And the fact that because people want it to be sunshine and rainbows, obviously, who the fuck doesn't? But that's not true. Obviously, it's not sunshine for rainbows for, I mean, it is sunshine and rainbows, yes, and it is also blood, death, rotting flesh, carcasses burning.
Yes. Calling.
It's
It's calling.
Kali. What do you mean? Oh, Kali.
Well,
Yes, 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 yes,
calling.
yes,
K-A-L-I. Calling.
yes, yes.
Yes.
I didn't hear it.
It's the creepy crawler. It's rotting. It's
Yes,
decomposition. It's death. It's
it's that.
destruction.
Yes, it is
It's
all of it.
darkness.
So you
Yes.
people want
Yes.
to live in these bubble worlds of assuming one aspect of reality while covering their ears and eyes, and going la 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 la, and blind, staying as blind as possible to the necessary opposing polarity that makes manifest the beautiful. Because in order to make manifest the beautiful, there must be the infinitely horrible. The infinitely beautiful demands the necessity of the infinitely horrible. They're contingent upon each other, infinitely and eternally contingent upon one another. So you say
Yes. Yes.
you say you want eternal life, but you have no willingness to admit the reality of eternal death and destruction. That makes no sense.
Right.
um,
Right.
but it's because it's so offensive to them, and I understand that it is, but that doesn't mean it's not the case. And this is where you get into these really, once you're on that edge, that precipice of truth, upon the witness, on that precipice of witnessing things as they are and not as one might necessarily assume them to be. It gets, like I said, it's very touchy, it's very fragile, it's very sensitive for obvious reasons, but
Hmm.
also you will see, and I'm sure you have seen in your own personal experience, and you more than likely will see in your future experiences, that most people upon that precipice will turn around even if they claim that they're ready to leap, or whatever, whatever metaphor I'm trying to use to convey this appropriately. But um, because that's just the pattern of their nature. But again, the irony is that they don't see it, or they won't admit it. um, Most often,
Right.
because that's also like a necessity of their character. A necessity of their character is to assume that its character is the only thing, and so the character also tries to keep itself in a capsule, in a bubble.
Right. Doesn't that apply to you as well?
Yes, I mean, my character does as it must. My character does. Um, the only and yeah, and the only distinction between myself and other characters in the in the infinite and eternal theater is that I'm at a place where I can't pretend that it's something other than what it is. Does that make sense? Like I can't, um the awareness is consistent. It's persistent. Um the awareness of
It's seemingly persistent right now, but everything goes through seasons. Everything goes through phases. what's interesting is we are one infinite being, but mortality seems to cause us to die. We
Mm.
have these biological bodies, and we physically die. And do you embrace the fact that you're going to physically die?
Oh, I'm gonna be destroyed to the flesh very soon. Very,
Okay,
very
okay,
soon.
okay. So your flesh is gonna, you're gonna, it's okay, but the eternal now continues,
Yes,
right?
but of course. Oh, everything's
So you're
eternal.
exactly. But what happens during that phase transition, most often, I suspect, is the body dies, and because you've lost that embodiment, you've lost your time and location.
Yeah.
Something happens afterwards, but there is a forgetting. Obviously, before you were born, a lot of shit was going on, right? And when
Yeah.
you were born, you forgot. You didn't. There's a veil. There's a veil of forgetfulness. This eternal being with many mirrors, as it's going through eternity, forgets and remembers and forgets and remembers. It has to
Hmm.
chop. The story must go on, right? But
Hmm.
it's cut into episodes and chapters and characters, right? There's prequels, there's trilogies, there's fan fiction, there's all of these ways that these narratives play out. But there's really only one entity or being going through this, which is that one being, right?
Well, yeah, and
Like
well,
you and I are the same being essentially, but we're now actually physically separated, right? You're in New York, and I'm. Or no, are you in New York right now?
yeah, yes.
Okay, so you're in New York right now. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, right? But we are one.
Hmm.
But I have a different memory than you, and I will die at a different time than you. And I suspect that I'm going to die, and I'm going to be somewhere, and I may or may not remember who I was. I won't remember that I was Dean.
Hmm.
There is a temporary nature to all of this at the same time as it's eternal. It's chopped up, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think people fear that. They fear their mortal death
Well,
because
yeah.
it's the end of this particular story in this particular place.
If I may, I'm gonna elaborate
Hmm.
a little bit on the potential diversity among the life and death experiences in relation to that
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Um, and this is also a very touchy subject, of course, but I will say for myself that to which most people refer to as a soul, that which is generally referred to as a soul,
Hmm.
which I personally what I define a soul as is that non-physical, that non-substantial essence of a being that has the hypothetical potential for liberation. So that's what I define a soul as.
Liberation from what?
From the endless cycles of death and birth, whatever, call it samsara, call it your
You,
even
you
your
think that you think that at some point you can actually transcend having to be different, have different experiences?
who me personally,
You.
or no,
Yeah.
I can't, no. Well, no, I'm already have okay. So this gets very um okay. So here, let me elaborate a little more, and then we could go into it. But so I'll define it as that which has the hypothetical potential for liberation, just from even your vessel. So you say, for example, you might that which is the essence of you as you are now might forget its story and take on another. Um, so maybe this is a good way to step into this. I I know, and this is a very pushy and touchy one, but I'm already in the eternal uh, story that I will experience forever. Um,
So I think what you're
Personally,
saying.
I'm not speaking for you, and I'm not speaking for all others. I am
I'm
personally,
trying to understand your
yeah,
perspective. You think so? Let me see if I understand what you're saying.
yes,
You are in the eternal now.
Yes.
which means there is always a present moment that you're experiencing in first person awareness. First person awareness as an
Mhm.
observer is eternal. There's always the eternal now. Even if the body dies, you're still going to be experiencing something,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Forever.
Yes. Forever.
So this thing that's beyond your physical body never fucking stops. There is no
No.
death. Right? Even if you're just floating in a void for a certain amount of time, you're the now eternal now moment never stops.
Correct.
Even when so you're that's that what you're trying to say? You're basically
Well,
already aware that no matter what happens, the show must go on. The narrative never ends. It's always a fucking story.
correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
so you're always either a character or something else in a story.
Okay. Well, yes. And what I'm trying to say in relation to just to myself personally,
Right, right.
and what makes me perhaps unique in comparison to others,
Yeah.
and why some people want to assume I'm special. That's a funny thing too. People always go, "Oh, you think you're special," and I go, "I never said that, but you keep saying it. Why do you think I'm special?" That's a funny thing, but that's another character game. Um,
Right.
anyway, the uniqueness of my being, the uniqueness of my circumstances is not only in. I mean, we are all already in the eternal now. It's a matter of witnessing it or not.
Yes. Exactly.
But but my character, uh, and I hope you hear me. I hope you hear me right, and I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
My character will always be the same. I will not change characters for the rest of eternal time.
So you're always going to be Patrick?
No, the Patrick is the name made manifest of this corporeal vessel. But
So when you say
I I
you
will
are,
I
what
will
do you mean
always
then?
be Yahda. Yes, I will always be because my
Okay,
being
what is Yada versus Patrick?
um Yada is that which knows. So this is a name that has likewise been made manifest of my circumstance and that I have been called since birth. Um, it only came to my knowledge later in time why I was called Yada and what it is that it means. And Yada essentially means, I mean, it's I'm not Jewish. I'm not, I'm not was not born to a Jewish family. I'm not any of this
Hmm.
stuff. None of that stuff. Whatever. But Yada is it's a it's an archaic Hebrew word which
Hmm.
essentially means one who knows Yah intimately. And
And what is Yah?
Yahweh, Yah is the primordial archaic Hebrew entity, right? He's that which they call God. He is that which they call
Okay,
God.
but that's in the Jewish framework. So
Correct.
this is below the source of all, right? This is some kind of a deity like Jehovah, or
Um,
you mentioned he, so it's a masculine
there's
god
no. Let's
of the
just
Hebrews. It's
let,
the
let
Hebrew male god.
Yahweh is what the Jews call God. It's what most Christians call God as well.
Right, right. Yeah, okay, yeah. And but it's not Allah. It's not. I
Well,
mean,
I
humans
mean,
have all kinds.
yeah.
Different
Personally,
cultures
I
and
don't think it
religions have
matter.
different.
It doesn't matter. I mean, because
Uh-huh.
um, I'm just trying to explicate on the nature of this name that I've been given since birth, essentially, and it means that which knows Yah. Now, some people, the quote unquote Gnostics call Yah the Yalbadoth, the demiurge, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about any of that bullshit personally.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
bullshit because it's only about the eternal everything, singular source and truth of all. But those are, all these things are fractalized manifestations of
Right.
of the singular source of all, right?
Right.
Anyway,
Why do you call it a he?
it just works. It doesn't matter. I
Why
mean,
not a she?
mm, because in the physically manifested material system that we're all made manifest in, there is a penis that is penetrating all of it.
Okay, but if you've got a penis penetrating, it's penetrating something.
Yes, yes.
A vagina.
Yeah, which might be more akin to like the void or something, but I don't know. It's very difficult to
And then
talk
if
about.
you've got a vagina, you've got a womb.
Sure, and
You've got you've
you
got
got an
ovaries. If
egg,
you've got if
and
you've
you
got
got
sperm, you've got an egg.
yeah,
Right, exactly. You
hmm
can't really have one without the other.
sure.
So why identify with the penis and not the egg?
Identify what? What are you asking me?
Well, you seem to be identifying with Yah. You're identifying with the penis, the
No, this is just
sperm.
what I'm called. This is just that I'm not. It's not a something I want to be. It's not
Well,
something.
you're identifying with it, right? Because
Yes,
that's what you're called. This is
yes,
the name you were given at birth. So
yeah.
you are identifying at birth that you were born, and you identify with the penis and the sperm.
No,
I'm just wondering why
I
not.
witnessed the penis. It's not. I don't care
You
about.
witness the penis. Do you witness the egg and the womb and the vagina?
Sure, sure, but not in this
Okay,
context.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because you could have been born as a female and have a different, identify yourself with Sophia or
No,
right.
I couldn't have because that wouldn't be me.
You can. But if this is eternal, at some point, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
I really want to try and understand where you're coming
Sure,
from because
sure, sure.
you're saying you are going to eternally be Yah. You're going to eternally identify with the penis. But if you're going to really experience everything,
I love that
if you're going to
sentence.
if you're going to experience eternal damnation,
hmm
and it's eternal damnation, damnation at some point turns into it inverts. At some point when you're in the total lightness, it either goes black or it goes darker. And if you're in the total darkness, at some point you either go into the light or it gets lighter. You for to be eternal, you're going to experience the penis, the sperm, the egg, the vagina,
hmm
right? I'm talking about
well,
eternal,
see, but
right?
see, I guess that's where the thing, the perhaps the identity question comes into play because you're saying you will experience it, but will you? Because you are no longer you as you know yourself, or you, right? So which aspect of you is experiencing, those diverse um, manifestations of being? Is it the
Right, right.
is it the personal you? Well, that personal you is not personally you anymore, perhaps
Well,
after
it's eternal now. It
after
is. If you
transition.
end up,
So anyway,
at
yeah.
some point, are you going to be me? Do you believe that this cycles so much, it's eternal novelty, that at some
Mm-mm.
point you're going to end up being born as Dean, and you're
No,
going to actually
because
experience my mortal body? Do you feel like you're going to end up
no,
living everybody's life
I think I already
at
am.
some point,
I guess that's
like
I
concurrently or serially?
concurrently, I guess, in a way, because it's more like they're tangents of one another, right? Like the fractal is born out of the fractal. It is self-perpetuating and coming from
Yeah,
itself always now. And so it has a resonant identity that can always relate to other things made manifest of the fractal, right? But its uniqueness is in that it is itself in the moment as it is, and can only
in the moment.
right and can only um, correlate that specific identity to another through slight recognition of a similar source or a similar pattern, but it is also simultaneously unique unto itself. Um, just
Hmm.
like you and me as separate entities, right? Like we
Right.
we are aspects of each other. We are aspects of each other, and
Hmm.
we are manifestations of the one. Yet simultaneously, we are also distinct entities unto ourselves in our
Hmm.
own worlds, if you will, in our own personal experience of
Our
the
own reality tunnel. Yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
eternal now moment is singular to the observer.
yeah.
We are
And,
separate observers. You're in New York and I'm here. We're separate observers.
yeah, separate observers.
And right, right. And
Yet
the eternal now moment is relative to the observer.
right. And so yeah, it's very, I mean, I guess like when we talk about the identity thing,
Hmm.
I'm not like hey buddy. I'm not hoping to be, I guess this comes back to an earlier conversation of like um of identifying as I am. It's not that necessarily that it's something I want to be, or or I don't know. I would feel free to ask me some questions about that maybe. And maybe we can explore that a little bit more
Yeah.
together.
Well, so have you seen the movie Arrival?
Is that the one with the alien, like the
The,
alien
the
life form,
alien
right?
heptapods?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the main thing about that movie is about language,
Language, yes.
about the fact that the heptapods talk in a language that's nonlinear. They do the circles,
Right,
right? And they don't
right,
think linearly, and so they're actually consciously aware of the future and the past
right,
equally,
right.
right? And and as soon as the girl, the main character in the movie, she starts to learn the language, she starts to actually perceive time that way, right? And and I just wanted to bring this back to language that you're I suspect that you're perceiving things that we don't currently have words for. Does that we're
Well,
bound by the limitations of our language. For
yeah,
example, a year ago,
for
a
sure.
hundred years ago, we couldn't talk about the internet, right?
No,
If you
yeah.
went up to somebody 100 years ago and said there's this, hey, an internet, a network, and a computer simulation, they'd go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm,
Mobile
mm-hmm,
phones and
mm-hmm.
Google, right, and Facebook, and there's this cloud. What the fuck are you even talking about? If you took the language that we use today, the words that we're using, and take them back in time, they're nonsensical.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think
They
that's the
they.
problem. You and I
Mm-hmm,
talking about identity, there's words missing in our vocabulary,
mm-hmm.
right? We're trying to say things and we don't have the words. And because we don't have the words, there is a challenge to perception of it. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to use words to understand. So
Sure,
you
sure.
were when you came out of your mother's vagina, right? They
Right,
gave you a name. Your parents called you Patrick. Right? It's
right,
on your birth certificate.
right,
So when you were born, you were named Patrick,
right.
right?
Yep.
And when you were a little boy running around, they were changing your diaper. They were calling you Patrick, and you went to school, you went to kindergarten. Your teacher called you Patrick. So,
Mm-hmm.
for all intents and purposes, you were entrained to be Patrick, and that was your
Except,
identity,
yeah, I was
right?
also
Now you're telling me that you were born Yada at the same time.
yes.
Now, how does that work? Did somebody call you Yada from the womb?
Yes, I was also called Yada from
Oh, okay, who called you Yada when you were a baby?
my whole family.
Your family. They gave you a nickname of Yada.
So they thought. Yes.
So, so they thought. What do you mean by that? So they called you Patrick, and then sometimes they called you Yada.
Yes.
What about your school teacher, your kindergarten teacher?
No, no, no. They had no connection to that.
Okay, but when you went to home, your mother said, "Hey, Yada, welcome home."
Mostly my siblings and my and my other family. Yeah.
So
Not
so they
not
gave
not.
you a nickname of Yada.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. So my name is Dean, and when I was a kid, they called me Deanie. That was a nickname, and your nickname was Yada, and they
Right.
didn't really know what it meant, is what you're saying.
I mean, who the hell comes up with a nickname like that?
Right. Where did they? Has anyone ever told you why they called you Yada when you were a
No,
kid?
they have no idea, but I do.
They just started calling you Yada.
Yes.
Okay. And so at some point you figured out what the hell Yada meant.
Yeah, it
When did you realize
became
what
clear.
Yahda really meant to you?
Probably only some years ago. Yeah, a few
Now, how
years
old are
ago.
you now?
I'm 34,
You're
biological.
34. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. I'm 56, so you're around 20 years younger than me. That's fantastic. So was it when you hit 30 that you realized what Yahda really meant?
Well, I had I only had basically full revelation, so to speak, of who I am and what I am about, yeah,
Hmm.
about around 30. Yes.
Okay, about 4 years ago,
Yes.
after COVID or
Yes.
during COVID.
Um,
Okay,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so around
okay,
that time, a little after, yeah.
yeah, okay, 2020, 21, something like that.
Hmm.
Okay, that's interesting that they called you that even when you were little, and then it wasn't. It took you 30 years to figure out what it actually meant.
Yep.
That's very interesting. That's very
Hmm.
interesting.
Because I mean,
So obviously you have a very deep identity to that name.
well, okay, so I'll say it like this. Again, I didn't think necessarily anything of it. It just became clear what what the name was, what it means,
Hmm.
and that it was and is a name that has been given to me from time eternal. It was not, it was not, and people want to, and this, this is a fragile thing also with the character and identity games. It's like people want to, how do I say it? The, the name is not something to make me special. The name is not
Hmm.
something to do anything other than speak to an aspect of that which I am that has been determined from time eternal. um,
Okay. So can we talk about time eternal for a minute?
mhm.
So what is your model of reincarnation? Do you believe you had previous mortal lives on Earth,
Me,
and have
no.
you identified any of them?
No, myself, no. No,
Okay, so you've never been on Earth in a previous life.
no. I went
Okay.
straight from heaven to hell.
So is this hell to you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm speaking
So
to you right now from hell. Yes.
okay, 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 okay. So you were in heaven. Did you have any other mortal experiences anywhere else other than heaven?
No, I don't think so.
Because the universe is 14 billion years old,
Yeah, I know.
and you've never had a presence in this universe before.
Oh, I've had a presence, but I've only been made manifest in this moment. Yeah.
So what was your presence in this universe before you were born as
Uh,
Patrick Yada?
well, no, those are names that came along with the manifestation of my vessel, right? So, in a way, I don't think I was named prior to my manifestation. People people want to,
So did you exist in any form in the universe before you were born as Yada
I mean,
34 years ago?
so it gets a little fragile again because me as a personal being, no, because I've only been made manifest 30, since 34 years. But
Yes, yes.
but that which I have been made manifest of, right? That which I have been made manifest of, which what I'll typically say is I am that which is made manifest of the metaphysical abyss, um,
Yeah.
has been around forever and will be around forever.
Okay. So I'm older than you. So you were born in like 1991.
Hmm.
Okay, you were born
Yep.
in 1991, and I was born in 1969. So
Good year. Good
1985.
year.
I'm 16 years old.
Yeah.
16 years old in 1985,
Hmm.
and your parents haven't even met yet. Maybe,
They
right?
had. They had. Yes, they were
Okay,
together.
okay, okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
my point is, there was no Patrick or Yada. I couldn't have found you anywhere on Earth,
No.
right? Okay. The universe is 14 billion years old. In 1985, Where were you, or what were you?
Nothing. I mean,
Weren't you in heaven? I thought you said you were in heaven before you were born.
okay. Well, the reason I say that is because this is my first and last manifestation of corporeal essence, and
Okay.
um,
But what were you in 1985 when I was alive on Earth?
I mean that's un like, what was I in a physical sense, or what was I
In
in
any
a
sense, in
non-physical
any,
sense?
in non-physical, physical. No, if you didn't ever reincarnate prior to that,
Hmm.
anywhere in the universe,
Hmm.
then were you in the unus mundus? Were you just were you a you said you're eternal, and
Well,
so
the
what
ess
form did you have?
the essence, or yeah, the essence from which I have been born,
Yeah.
the space or the void from which I have been made manifest is eternal. Yes. And because of that, within my personal now manifested physical experience, I'm already, like I had said prior, I'm already, let's say, witnessing eternity or experiencing eternity,
Yeah.
and merely riding out that ride just like everyone else. But the distinction is that there's no speculation. Like, I'm not wondering. you know I'm
Oh,
not.
I get that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand I'm
Yeah.
trying to go back in time with your eternal now.
Sure, sure.
Your eternal now is eternal. So it's eternally forward and eternally backward. So I'm trying to go back on
Mm.
your eternal now.
Hmm.
So, and just go back in time every day, prior day, right? So 2025, 2024, 2023. Let's go back age 34, 33. Now you're age 1.
Hmm.
Your eternal now moment is there. Now you're age 0. Now you're in the womb, and now you're prior to conception. So your mother has an egg and your father has the sperm.
Yep.
They haven't come together yet, but your eternal now still exists.
Right.
And then the day before the conception, and then before your parents even were born, you
Right.
are still having the eternal now moment experience. What
Mm.
was your eternal now moment experience prior to, completely prior to Patrick? Was it still Yahda?
I mean, yeah, yes.
Okay, so what was your eternal now moment experience long before your parents
But
even
see,
met
well,
or were
this is
born?
this is this gets into, like, I guess it's a time paradox, right? Because
Yes, but it's
it
eternal. But it's eternal. We're talking about eternal time, right?
yes, I know, but in a sense, eternity started at my conception. And I know, like, hear me out. So prior to my conception and my perception, the universe didn't
Hmm.
exist.
So you're a solipsist.
What's that?
You're a solipsist. Solipsism.
Um,
Did I exist? Was my eternal now? Did
let's
I
say this.
live since
I'm not a
1985?
solipsist or not a solipsist. It's just that you have to there's
What about my eternal moment, Patrick? What about me in 1985 and my eternal now when you didn't exist on the planet at all?
well, there's only
Was
now.
that?
There's only now. There's only now. There's only now,
Yes,
right?
and it was only now then too.
Right, exactly.
It's always been now.
Right.
And
Right.
every moment exists. The universe is a 4D block universe.
Yeah, yeah.
The dinosaurs still exist. That the eternal
Mm,
now
mm.
moment existed before me as well. My mortal existence. You didn't ask me where was I before this. I have reincarnated on this earth prior to my reincarnation.
Sure, I believe you.
I have been other things,
Sure.
right? And time has passed in this 4D universe where I haven't experienced it.
Hmm.
Okay, and so it's possible to me in my mind that you've never had any kind of experience in this 4D block universe prior to your mortal birth.
Mm.
I totally accept everything you're saying. I believe everything you're saying.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to understand it
Yeah, I
because
get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
um, So in your mind, the universe didn't. But to say that
Well,
my
okay.
universe didn't exist before you were born, to me is nonsensical.
Well, I wouldn't
Unless you're a
say that.
solipsist.
I wouldn't
Unless
say
you're a
that.
solipsist. If the
Okay.
universe started at your birth, then
Yeah.
that makes sense. I can embrace that.
Hmm.
I'm just a backstory. Everything I tell you is just a backstory to your existence.
Well, even the things you tell
But you
your
must have existed before your conception.
well,
You're eternal.
even the things you tell yourself about your prior experiences are only just a story currently, aren't they? Right? In this moment now, you're telling yourself a story of your past or whatever.
Yes,
So
yes.
so
But
in
but
in
it's but it's a cumulative story.
sure.
I'm expressing it in the now moment, but I have memory,
Yeah, right.
right? It's cumulative. Things accumulate over time,
I agree.
right? So if there's an eternal future, there's an eternal past
Yes, I
that
agree.
exists equally in the eternal now.
I agree.
And the source of all somehow is one mind that experiences everything.
Right.
So so Yahda came into existence at your conception?
Well, okay. Um yeah, so yada is simply that which knows. That that which knows. That's how I can best describe it,
And has always known.
and has always known.
Okay.
And so
But you didn't know
that
what Yahda meant until you were 34 or 30,
right.
sorry.
Right.
So there
So
was 30 years where Yahda didn't know Yahda.
in a way, yeah. Because
Okay.
this, like you were just saying, the story still must play out.
The
Even though
story
this
must
is
go on.
and even though this is a time eternal story of eternity past and eternity present and eternity future,
Hmm.
the the human, the one I've been called, Patrick, whomever, came to know its true nature through the story playing out, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and and it only came to see itself for what it is in time, upon the full revelation of all things. And
Right.
so yeah, this is where the paradox, and if one isn't, and again at that precipice kind of thing, what sometimes how I'll say it is that it's never one or the other. It's always both and neither.
Yes, the truth is in the paradox. Yes.
So
Yes.
the paradox is this completely intangible, the completely ineffable, the completely unholdable. You can't hold it in your hands. It is
Right.
it is simply what is as it is and nothing else.
Yes.
And this is something the average human mind or experiencer cannot even begin to touch upon, because it is so completely enrapturing, so completely destructive, completely right, like kind of back to that
Yeah.
conversation earlier, is so completely removed from the
Yeah.
character, from the typical character identity, like, and
Well,
this guy.
it from the typical ontology. Everyone has
Yeah.
their own ontology. They have their own worldview, and they avoid
Right.
ontological shock.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Right. Right.
I deal in the paranormal. Okay, and when I was 10 years old, I actually had an experience on Skinwalker Ranch where I saw alien craft and an alien being when I
Oh,
long before Skinwalker Ranch,
I've met
and I try to
I've
tell
yeah.
people that,
Hmm.
and it's a threat. They
Sure.
can't deal with it,
Sure. I,
right? And what I've discovered, like you're discovering, they freak out. They get pissed off because
oh yeah.
anything that threatens their ontological worldview, it's a threat to their survival. It's like you're trying to kill them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
People will
Here,
defend their ontological
I
view,
need to
their
read you.
worldview to the death,
I need to read you
right?
some of my words that I've
Yeah.
uh
So I totally get where you're coming from. You're right. People, it's not, but you seem to be on a mission to try to break, try to crack the eggs, and get people to kind of
I mean, it's not even
break out of their ontological view.
it's not even a mission. Again, it's not a mission I want. I think,
You
and
feel
this
like it's your identity. It's an
No,
identity.
no, it's my nature, and it's what I must
It's your
do.
nature.
Yeah, I guess it's not something I want. It's not something I want to identify by. It's not something I want to be or want to be doing. And I guess I need to drill that home over and over and over and over again because for most
Well,
people,
you've got
they
no free will.
no, I'm not doing this because I want to do it at all.
No,
I
you can't. You can't stop. This is a
cannot
book.
stop.
It's predetermined. Your death, your deathbed, your the moment you fucking die
Yeah,
is just as real as your birth. It's out there. It's
yeah,
already predetermined.
of course
And
it is.
nothing you're going to do is going to change a damn thing.
It's
But you will experience. There will be. This is like you're in a theater and it goes frame by frame, and you're watching one frame of that movie,
yes,
24 frames per second.
yes,
But I'm telling you that movie reel is already loaded in the projector,
yes,
and you're going to
yes,
sit in that fucking theater and you're going to watch the damn movie till the end. Tough
yes,
shit. I
yeah,
absolutely agree with that. So you mentioned that you were born here and you came from heaven and now you're in hell.
yes.
Okay, so what do you mean by you're in hell now? You're already in the abyss?
Yes.
Okay,
I am in the metaphysical abyss of unending death and destruction already, yes.
okay. So what happens after you die?
It
When your physical
no
body
the,
dies and they cremate you, they cremate the body, your
mhm.
eternal now
uh,
moment continues.
yeah, it will just be that eternal repeating suffering of feeling death forever and ever
What
worsening.
will what will be your first person experience?
Feeling death, the most violent, horrible, inconceivably horrible, violent death forever.
Okay. Um, but it's an eternal story, so there's got to be pacing, there's got to be story arcs, there have to be characters.
Oh, I mean,
It
there's innumerable characters in the theater, yeah. In the in
well, no, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about your theater. Your
oh,
theater is your eternal now moment.
mhm.
So you die, and you've got a soul, and where
No,
did you go?
I don't have a soul. No,
You don't have a soul, so
no,
you're not eternal.
I am eternal. Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand this. If you're eternal, when your mortal body dies,
Yeah.
your first person experience continues.
Yeah.
Now, now, in my ontology, which could be completely false, I'm not
Yeah.
emotionally committed to anything.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
my best understanding right now, based on my own personal experiences and everything I've learned, and it could be totally wrong, is that when I physically die, that I will have a first person experience of something else
Yeah.
as an observer. I will be observing something. Now, will I wake up as someone else? Will
Hmm.
I come out of a womb? Will I float up into the sky and go to the spirit realm?
Hmm.
I don't know the actual narrative,
Yeah.
but there will be a story,
Sure.
and I will still be an observer. And as a story, there will be characters, there will be
Hmm.
arcs, there will be experiences, there will be a passage of perceived time, second per second,
Hmm.
as a centralized observer with an external experience.
Hmm.
It's the show must go on.
Oh, it goes on
So
forever. Yeah.
okay, so explain to me what this eternal torment is. Are you in a torture chamber and people are cutting you up? Are you burning in fire?
Oh, I'm being crushed by
What is the actual first person experience?
each passing second of my experience is ever worsening conscious torment. I don't
Okay.
I don't sleep anymore. I don't I can barely feed myself. I'm being crushed by the weight, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I am being crushed by the weight of the entire universe. Each passing
Okay,
second,
so
the mechanisms of space-time are driving me ever further into the metaphysical abyss.
okay. So when was the last time you had a full night's sleep?
Years.
So you haven't slept in years?
Not legitimately, no.
What do you mean not legitimately? Do you,
You know,
you, you
I close my eyes. I kind of go in and out of some kind of weird states of consciousness.
okay?
Um,
Do you dream? Do you have dreams?
I mean, the whole thing's a dream. It's a,
Well,
um,
but you know what I mean by dream. I mean you fall asleep at least for maybe 30 minutes, and you
I,
have a dream experience, and then
I
you
can,
wake up.
I find myself in like different abstract fields of consciousness,
Okay, okay.
but they kind of all blur together. Like I don't, there is not really a distinction anymore between the quote unquote waking and sleeping um,
Do you hold
experience.
a job?
No,
Do you have a job where you work?
no.
Okay. So do you live with somebody?
Uh, I'm kind of a vagrant, and I've lived.
So you're homeless right now.
No, I have a space, and I have money.
Okay, okay. So you've got money and you've got a
Hmm.
space. So you don't have to work because you're able to sustain yourself in a place. So you're able to buy food.
For the time being. Yeah.
For the time being, you have
Yeah.
money and you're able to buy food and you've got a place.
Yes.
Okay. Do you live
But
alone?
currently I live with one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not living alone.
No, and I even have you know, friends and
Okay.
remember, keep in mind the paradox for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you want to have a family? Do you want to be a father?
Oh, I would love to, but that's not a possibility.
That's not a possibility. You don't think that's going to happen.
No, 0% chance. I mean,
So how do you see your life playing out as Patrick Yahda?
horribly violent destruction of the flesh is very soon.
You're going to get hit by a car. You're going to spontaneously combust.
This is
You're going to be
no,
raped and killed.
I mean, I've been, you know, I've been raped, I've been hit by car. I've been in and out of institutions. I've been in and out of
Okay.
that's, you know, that's barely the um you know, I don't
I
want
can
to.
see why I understand. Yeah, you must have gone through a lot of hell already. Sounds like.
Oh, I've been, yeah, my existence is, I mean, is as I say it is, and I don't mean that to be pretentious or arrogant or whatever. I only care to share the reality of my experience because it's yeah, it is
So
what it is.
you've experienced a lot of first person physical trauma.
Oh yeah, and death. Lots of friends who have died and family members who have died. My um well, I mean, it part of the revelation of my experience, and like I said, when I came to know what it is that I am, uh, um, is that I also realized that prior to that, it had all been leading up to the revelation of what it is that I am as I am, right? And so became clear to me that since birth this has been happening, you know. But what's interesting is that I kind of there was this mechanism where I was somewhat able to avoid admitting that to myself prior to this revelatory experience, right? And but it became clear that since birth, like everything has been made manifest of my circumstance, and that my experience has been not essentially was nothing other than like, I mean, it's still paradoxical because I also am whatever, you know, I traveled the world, and a lot of that was, you know, hurt me in the end. But you know, I've met all sorts of people. I've had all sorts of girlfriends. I've had all sorts of friends. I've had those experiences, but all of those experiences were made manifest of my condition, and were all implicit, for lack of a better way to say it, in my damnation. And and oh yeah, lots of fighting, screaming, punching, hurting. My brother died. My my parents, whatever, abuse, whatever, all sorts of. I mean, I, 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 I have had like, what was I gonna say? I have had. I mean, I used to even like praise God in a way. I mean, not in like a religious way, not in like, oh, I'm this religion praising God. I would just praise God. And and um and in a way I was even grateful for my horrible torment. um until it became too much. Until like this personal transition happened where there's no opportunity anymore for genuine joy or enjoyment of any kind. Oh yeah, ever worsening. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yes. I mean, oh, I can see the whole thing. I can see the whole thing. Yeah. It's the universe. Yeah. No. Yes. There is no one, and I don't mean there. There's no one else. Yes. Yeah, and the other, I know who the other is. It's the singular source of all. It's even if you want to call it the personification of the Godhead, whomsoever. But I know who the other is. It's the one that exists on the complete and absolute opposite side of the eternal polarity. So, no. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, and there are I mean, endless. I'm an endlessly curious being, and I'm vent. Yeah. Well, I'm again, I'm at a place now where I'm certain that there isn't another me, or there isn't even. I mean, There isn't one like me. And that's not, again, it's not about me being special. It just is what it is. I mean, infinitely. Infinitely. Yes. 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 Oh, I am. Yeah, I am. I've been excommunicated from life. from the abundance and bounty of life. I've been excommunicated. I've been relegated to the metaphysical abyss. Hmm. Yeah, I appreciate your words. It's just, yeah, and that's about the best it can be, is that sometimes I meet some who can see a little bit. Mm. Hmm. Well, my desire is to be a part of life. um, and in a way, okay, I am, because I am also made manifest of the infinite and eternal story, but but I have no personal freedom to commune with people in the way that I desire. I have no personal freedom to do that which I so want to. I have no personal freedom to be anything other than what I am as I am, and to play the role that I play. And so this is again coming back to, let's say, the free will conversation, where it's entirely destroyed. I mean, I'm example zero. How I'll say, sometimes I am example 0 and 1 of of I mean, of the destruction of all philosophy, of the destruction of all assumptions on the nature of reality, and it defies everyone's and anyone's assumptions on what should or shouldn't be and what could or couldn't be. Yes.
However, it seems to me from my own experiences, because I'm not going to compare myself to you, but I have been to the abyss myself
Hmm.
several times,
Hmm.
temporarily,
Yes.
and I don't have free will. I've done things that I don't feel like I could have done differently. Um, at the same time, as a character in the narrative of God,
Hmm.
I experience choice, even though it's not real. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like when you're reading a
Sure.
book, the
I
characters
mean,
in the story actually are making choices, even though the book is already
yeah.
written.
Of course. Of course.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Of
You,
course.
you go to see a movie and you know the movie is predetermined, and
Right.
the characters on the screen don't have free will, but you know, you know, Han Solo still decides to shoot, right? He
Right.
still gets the lightsaber, and Darth Vader still does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of
The
course.
characters experience choice even though they have no free will. And
Yes.
so you're experiencing choice even though you know you're not free.
Yes.
And
I mean,
that's a paradox, isn't it?
yes. It's all
Which means
paradoxical.
it's a
Yeah.
truth. It's truth is in paradox. When people ask me what is truth, I say it's paradox, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And you seem to feel like you're trapped in the paradox, that you're trapped on one side of the fence, but you may experience in the future different choices, even though you have no free will.
Mm.
And here's why I think that may happen to you. Okay, for two reasons. Number one is there are synchronicities.
I mean, everything is synchronous. I mean, at some point, like,
Well,
and
hold
resonant.
on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's talk
Go
about the
for it.
paradox. Okay,
Go for it.
so nothing is a coincidence, which means everything is a
Yes.
coincidence,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
We live in a probability-driven universe where shit happens, right? Right? Someone has to win the lottery. It's
Mm.
random, right? You go to Vegas, you may, when you roll the dice are going to come up. If you take a tarot card deck and shuffle and pull cards, if you pull three cards, you're going to have three cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so the definition that Carl Jung gave of synchronicities is they're highly improbable coincidences that you find personally meaningful. So they're meaningful coincidences, but they have to be very unlikely to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at a coincidence, you say, well, what's the probability of that happening? Holy shit, this is very improbable. And at the same time, it's very profoundly meaningful to you. In my experience, synchronicities just happen.
Yeah.
Meaningful coincidences. And there's shadow synchronicities. Dark things happen to us by coincidence. You said you got in a car accident, right?
I've been in many car accidents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those are shadow synchronicities.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in a car accident my entire life.
No. Wow.
Never.
That's crazy.
Well, except when I was 2 years old. I was thrown from a car and smashed my face on the pavement when I was 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason survived it. But since that accident when I was 2 years old, I haven't been in one, right? I've never dropped my phone and broken the screen on my phone, even though everybody else seems to break their phones. How many times have you broken your phone?
Dozens.
Okay, I've never in my entire life broken the screen on my phone. I had to repair it in any way. So there are shadow synchronicities, but they're out of our control. You can't
Yeah.
control the coincidences that happen to you,
Of course.
right?
It's just patterns. It's just picture
It's
patterns.
just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So there's that. Okay, so you don't know what synchronicities are going to befall you. Okay, but they're out there and they're predestined. Okay, the other one is catalysts, and catalysts are just moments in your life where things could go either way, or that force you to shit or get off the pot,
Mm-hmm.
where you will experience a choice. Now, there's no free will in it whatsoever, but there are still catalysts, right? And there's also another thing that I might want to mention. I'm basing this on my own personal experience and the law of narrative, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe that fundamental reality is a narrative. It's
Mm-hmm.
not matter, it's not consciousness, it's narrative. And so there are rules that govern our existence. Our first person experience is a story. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing the universe is a collection of events. That's it. It's not atoms and particles and all this other bullshit. It's a series of events,
Yeah.
and
I
they
mean,
follow patterns,
sometimes I
right?
think
They
of it
follow
as
patterns.
information. I mean, for example,
It's information, but it's organized information,
yeah.
right? It's segmented into events. So and the stories, this if you study the way stories are written, if you learn how to write stories, you know that characters have an arc and they always have a flaw, right? There's always foreshadowing before something big happens. There's foreshadowing. My life is a goddamn narrative. If you've ever seen the movie Stranger Than Fiction from 2004,
Mm.
it's got Will Ferrell in it.
Yes, I
He
know it.
realizes he's actually a character in someone's novel that they're writing,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually meets her. So he has an author writing his story. It's almost like the Truman Show, right?
Right.
There is an external author writing this fucking story, and it's the source of all. It's God.
Yeah.
God is writing a fucking story, and we are trapped in the fucking narratives that
Yes.
God is writing. It's a
Yes.
fucking book already written. Okay. And I'm
Yes.
just saying, because it's a book and you're a character in the book and you don't have free will, you're going to experience synchronicities. You're going to experience catalysts, which force choice. There is another concept called the Deus Machina, and that's the surprise character that just shows up one day and flips the fucking story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Donald Trump gets elected after a bullet whizzes past his head, right?
Yeah.
Right? What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
the actual fuck? It's those surprise, unexpected moments in a story where some weird shit goes down that you don't even see in the story. Surprises, right? And you could have that. You could have a Deus Machina, a character appear in your life that flips your table, that flips your narrative. That does happen in stories. I'm not saying it will.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you don't really know the future. You're talking about how you're predestined. You already know how this is all going to end for you. But
Well,
you're a
like
mortal
this.
being and eternal. You don't
I
really know the future. I
what
don't know my future. I know it's out there.
what I do know, see, I guess so in relation to that is I do know my eternal trajectory.
Okay, there is a trajectory in your character arc.
And
Right.
and the only things I don't know is the exact details as to the way in which that will be made manifest in the moment, because
Right.
only in the moment can you know that which is made manifest. And
Right.
so it's that same thing, like you're saying, where the story is written, but the character must play it out. The character must
Yes.
play out the experience and experience the
Yes.
experience. So
Yes.
so the distinction for myself is that I'm, with infinite misfortune to myself, I am infinitely certain of my eternal trajectory. I'm just I'm just on that ride, um, for eternal time. And that's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to say, a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to admit, a horrible, horrible, horrible thing that I don't even care to share with others, because
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to be burdened by my reality. But the reality is that they will be. They are and they will be, because we're all tethered together in some way. And
Well,
so,
they won't even believe it.
and there's
Your
that.
story is unbelievable.
Yes, it
Your
is.
story is so horrific. Your actual, real, first person embodied experience from birth,
Yes.
your story is unbelievable and unacceptable. It's
Yes.
a threat to
It's a
people.
threat.
They don't want to believe that could actually happen to anybody.
Yes,
And if they hear
exactly.
your story, it makes them feel vulnerable themselves.
Yes.
I'll bet a lot of people tell you God wouldn't let that happen,
Right. Oh yeah. Oh my
right?
God. The amount of stuff. Yes. Along that
The
line.
bullshit you get on God would not let that happen.
Yes.
And
And
yet
yet.
you're a physical manifestation of
Yes. Exactly.
it.
Yes.
You're proof.
I am proof. I am evidence.
You're
I am example 0 and 1.
yes,
Yes.
yes, you're an
Yes.
embodied evidence of reality, and it's undeniable, except they want to fucking deny it. And so they project their hate on you
Yes.
because it's such a
Exactly.
threat to their own. They can't believe that someone would go through what you went through. Even
Yes.
if you sit down to a therapist, I bet if you sat with a psychiatrist or psychologist, their only answer is you're full of shit, this is horrible, and you need to be on meds. They aren't going to be able to process it.
No, most of them. Actually, I had a therapist at some point that I was sharing some of this stuff with, and he mostly
And they
just
could process it.
he just listened. He didn't really.
Did he engage? Did he understand? Did
Mm,
he really engage with your experience?
no, no.
It's really easy to just listen and nod your head
Yeah,
and
exactly.
say, "I'm sorry that happened to you.
Right,
Oh, that must have been difficult," right?
right,
It's another thing to say, "Oh shit. Oh fuck, I get it."
right.
And you are what you say you are.
Yeah,
Your reality is real.
I have no. I mean, I don't know how to make it any more clear to people that
It's real.
this is not for fun. I'm not doing this for
Nope.
I'm not doing this for shits and giggles.
Nope.
I'm not doing this
Not
to.
make believe.
No, I'm not doing this to play a.
And you're not delusional.
No,
Patrick,
no.
you're one of the most self-aware people. You're one of the most self-aware people I've ever met.
Yeah, I
I
know.
told you when this conversation started, I was just really curious, right?
Yeah,
I was really curious. Who is this guy? Where is he coming from? And what it would be like to talk to him. And you are so self-aware. And your YouTube channel and everything I've seen about what you posted online, it makes sense now.
hmm
I get it. I get it. I haven't walked with you, but I get it. And you are incredibly self-aware. It must be insanely frustrating for you that no one will really engage or accept. They react.
No, they can't. They can't.
They they can't. They can't. You're such a threat to because you're such an anomaly,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The
You're like
infinite
some object that
anomaly.
shows up in their environment like a UFO and they just can't even process it. It just defies their whole model
Yes.
because they believe in an infinitely wonderful, just God and loving and forgiveness. And you're like, bullshit. You're
Well,
so far on the other side of the fence.
let's put it this way. How I've come to see justice is that justice is ultimately whatever just is. And that's how I describe it. You might have heard me or read that somewhere else because I've said it before, but justice
Yeah.
is ultimately and eternally whatever just is because that's just it.
Just is justice? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
The word justice just is.
Yeah, because that's it. And on an and on
Oh,
an eternal time scale, there will be nothing other than exactly what just is.
is.
And that
So eternal justice,
and
right?
that is eternal justice. Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Now where the human gets confused is that they try to forcibly believe in something as fairness. They forcibly
Fair,
try,
yeah.
and that's the biggest farce that has ever existed, ever.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
there's no such thing
Yeah.
as
Life's not fair.
there's no such thing as fairness. There's no such thing as equal opportunity. There's no such thing as equal capacity, free will for all. There's no such thing as we all get a chance. That's bullshit. No, we all don't get a chance. Some get a chance, some don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on an eternal time scale, all will be exactly as it is because that's it. There's nothing other than what is as it is. Everything else is a fabricated abstraction of the story that has nothing to do with the truth. And
Right. Right. Right.
and yeah,
Right. At least in this incarnation, from where you're at and from what you've experienced, that's all you can see. All I would suggest is that upon mortal death, at some point you're gonna have your last heartbeat. Your heart will stop. You'll stop breathing, and you'll have like 12 seconds before you go completely unconscious. You'll lose your sight. You'll still be able to hear. You'll have about 8 to 10 seconds where you can still hear things. The last sense to go is your hearing before you go blind when your body stops breathing and your blood just stops in your body,
hmm
right? And the moments after that, you're still experiencing first person, and another story will start. It may be a continuation of this horror, but you might wake up and find yourself as Taylor Swift. You might wake up and be Hitler, or you might wake up and
I'm
be
already infinitely
I don't
worse
know what
that
the hell.
I'm infinitely worse than Hitler. That's the funny
I'm
thing.
just saying.
Yeah.
Well, you are now, but you're gonna die,
Yeah, but
and you don't really know what's in store for you after you die. You
I
don't. You don't. I don't know.
I do.
How
I
can
do.
you
I
know?
do.
How can you know that?
I'm
But
sorry.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
Even as I'm going to call you Yada. Yada, how do you fucking know? Since you're trapped in the eternal now,
Yeah.
how can you know? You can fear, you can suspect, you can hypothesize, but knowing is something else. Even if you see the future, even if you see it, you don't really know until you're there what you're going to be experiencing, what the story will be after you die as Yada or as Patrick. You know what?
Mhm.
Yada may be your eternal identity. I think that's what you're saying. You think Patrick's going to die, but Yada will continue.
Something like
And
that.
Yada is cursed for eternity to suffer more and more.
Yes.
Okay, Yada doesn't die, Patrick does.
Yes.
Okay, okay. That's the story you must bear now. That is the cross that you must carry up until you get on the hill and you are nailed to the cross. And I can't take that away from you. No one can. You've got to wake up every morning knowing you're Yada and that Patrick is temporary.
I'm just riding. I'm riding
You're
the.
riding the now.
I'm riding the ride until it just
Yes.
explodes, obliterates.
Until the wheels come off, or it flies off the rails, or it blows up, or it crashes and
Hmm.
burns.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. And you're going to walk away from whatever happens. You always have. You're a goddamn survivor. The fact that you're not locked up in prison or locked up in an institution,
I was locked up in an institution for almost a
but
year.
you got out, you fucking got out of it. You're a survivor, man.
And I had
You're a
psychiatrists
survivor.
there who were like,
Yep.
they were so funny. I,
Yep.
I, I,
You had everybody give up on you, and you still fucking got out of that
well,
hospital.
but it's super interesting because if someone sits with me, person to
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and actually took the time,
Hmm.
they could see that I'm not just sincere. I'm infinitely sincere.
Oh yeah.
I am speaking from the depth of my being,
You
and I
speak truth.
and I have no reason to lie. In fact,
No, you speak truth.
in a
You
way,
speak truth.
I can't even lie, which is ironic because in a sense that which I have been born from is called the father of lies.
Well, not only are you telling others the truth, my sense is that for the most part, you're telling yourself the truth. You're not lying to yourself about what's going on.
I
And
try
what
to
tells
I
me that,
try to lie to myself. It doesn't work. It
it
can't
just doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's
right. It
impossible.
doesn't work.
It
Yeah, you
doesn't
can't lie
work.
to yourself. Yeah, yeah. You can't lie to yourself, and you can't lie to others. The only thing you can hold on to is truth. It's the only light in your life is truth.
Hmm.
It's the only thing you can rely on.
Yeah.
I
So,
get that. What impresses me is, why aren't you dead? Why
mm,
haven't you killed yourself?
oh, I've come close many, many times
But why didn't you finish it off?
because it's predetermined. It will happen when it happens.
But you've attempted suicide?
Yeah. And if I had the right tool at the right time, it would have happened, but it wasn't time yet, you know?
But did you start? The way suicide works is you decide you want to kill yourself, and then you've got a couple of steps. You need
Oh,
to go in another room and get the gun.
I've run in front of cars. I've
Okay,
u-
okay. So
I've
how many
used
steps did you get close to actually accomplishing
well,
suicide?
it's been
A lot
spun.
of people will go to a bridge, but they won't jump. How many steps were you away from killing yourself?
Well, the thing is, I don't want to kill myself. That's something to also understand. But I,
Why don't
but
you want to kill yourself?
because I'm infinitely certain that it only gets worse.
So suicide would just make your situation worse.
Yes.
Okay, but you've attempted suicide.
Oh
Why
yeah,
didn't you finish
because
it?
I'm so
Why did you
desperate.
do it?
It just didn't
Why did you
happen.
do it? So you tried to kill yourself and the bullet didn't come out of the
No,
chamber, or
I've
uh,
never had a gun. I've never had a gun.
okay, okay. But the times you've attempted to kill yourself, why did it fail?
I don't know. I mean,
You
I,
don't.
I,
What?
in the sense that, I mean, I do know because I know it will happen exactly how it must. Do you know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Are you going to end
But
up killing yourself? Is that what you feel is in your future? You're going to kill yourself at some point?
probably yes.
Okay, okay. So you're screaming towards suicide.
I mean, I don't want to admit that because I don't want it to be so. But more than likely, yes, that will be the case.
So you think your death certificate is going to say suicide?
Or I'll be turned into minced meat somehow. Yeah,
So dismemberment or crushed in some
yeah,
kind of crushing or
yeah.
some kind of horrific
Oh yeah,
physical.
the most violent death you could possibly imagine times
Okay,
a
okay.
billion. Yeah,
So symbolically crucifixion,
yeah, just much worse, much worse. I'd take crucifixion any
evisceration.
day. I'd take
Let,
crucifixion
okay,
any
let,
day.
let, so let's call it evisceration, where they take out some blades, you're fully conscious, and they skin you alive,
Oh yeah,
and they
worse.
cut you up, and you're aware of it, and they're laughing their asses off, and they're enjoying every moment of it.
Yeah, worse, much
And
worse.
yeah, and they've got a blowtorch at the same time,
Hmm.
and it's in the pins and needles, and they pour alcohol,
Sure.
The more you suffer and you think it couldn't get any worse, they read your mind and they realize how they could make it worse.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
So that's what's on your death certificate or its tombstone.
Yeah.
It's not old age.
No.
It's not a heart attack at 65.
No. Nope.
How much time do you feel you have left? You've got your whole life. I know
Not a
you feel
lot.
like you're an old person. You have got your whole life ahead of you. The average age of men are at like 75 or something like that, 72. So you've got another 40 years ahead of
No.
you.
No way.
You're not
There's
even halfway there. You're not even halfway through your life.
0% chance I make it.
Okay, so how many more years do you feel like you've got on the clock?
Not. I'd be surprised if it's more than one.
Okay, so you're going to be dead within a year.
Well, something also because of how strange this is. I mean, I might be in some weird condition. I might be in a hospital bed, completely paralyzed for that time being. I might be, it's as drawn out. The worst possible experience that could possibly be in each moment is exactly what will be for me for infinite eternity.
Based on your previous experience, I understand that you're projecting the past onto the future.
Well, it is what is. It's a demand of my metaphysical condition. It's really not any more complex than that. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you might live to be 75, but it'll be hell the whole time.
I mean, I don't think this flesh will be in any form that it is in now within
Okay.
more than a year or two. Would be very
Okay. So
surprising.
so 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 you give yourself 2 years.
It's very difficult to say. It's very difficult to say. It's very difficult
Are
to
there
say.
things you feel like you need to accomplish before the end?
I mean, there's infinite things I feel like I have to accomplish, but it's not up to me. It's not. If it were, I would do them. I would have done them already.
Because you're putting a lot of energy online. You're putting a lot of energy into Reddit, into
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's what's demanded of me. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
what's demanded. Where does that demand coming from?
My nature, what I am as I am. It's
Your
uh,
identity, your nature. Sorry, your
my
nature.
nature. Yeah. Everything comes down to nature. It comes down to
Hmm.
nature does as it does in in
Yep.
in the innumerable ways that it does, and
Yep. Undeniable. Undeniably so,
yeah,
Patrick.
yeah.
Undeniably so.
Yeah, and again, I'll say it again. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm not doing this. I'm doing it because it's basically the best I can do. It's the absolute best I can do. And and
Under
and
the situation, under the circumstances, yes, I get that.
and
You're always striving for best case scenario in your situation.
100% of the time. And
And
I'm
that's what makes you a survivor. That right there. You're always trying to get best case scenario based on your limitations.
mhm,
Despite everything happening to you, you're still doing the YouTube videos.
mhm.
And I'm
and,
telling you, anyone
and
else
I
in your
get
situation would give up.
and I get the amount of, like I said, the amount of grievances I get, the amount of personal attacks I get,
Hate, personal
which is
hate.
yeah,
Yeah, and you do it anyway, and you
and
still
I do
get
it
the hate
anyway.
day after
Yes,
day,
yes,
and you don't feel like you can stop.
no. If I could, I would.
What would happen if you did stop?
It's no, it's if I could, I would. It's not like
Okay,
it's
but
gonna,
this is a thought experiment.
yeah,
This is a
it's
thought. I'm
gonna
not saying you
stop
could.
when it stops.
I'm not saying you could or you would.
Hmm.
I'm just saying if you actually did stop, what would happen?
Well, again, this is kind of a paradox because it's so necessary to my being. It's so intrinsic to my experience. Um, that I do as I
Right.
do, right? So it's
Right.
that's kind of like it's a hypothetical that holds like no real, relevance or
Well, I'm not talking about reality. I'm not
yeah.
even talking about probability. I'm saying what would it look like if you weren't doing what you're doing?
I don't know. I don't know because because I am. I guess that's and 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 again because for example, when you're asking me personally like questions like that, it opens up a whole hypothetical Pandora's box because I in a world in which I was actually free to do as I please, it would be completely unrelated to myself and my experience now. So it's like it's so foreign to me that it holds no relevance at all. I don't know really how else to say it. It's really strange, but that's basically the best way I can say it. It's like it's so unimaginable. It's so inconceivable to me that others are free to do as they please.
No, no one is free.
Right, but well, let's say people are circumstantially relatively more free than others. So that's the best that it can get for some.
Are they? But they don't have free will.
No, it's not about
They
free
don't.
will. I don't talk about it. I
Yeah.
talk about circumstantial relative freedoms. So some people are
What is that?
meaning like in some people's personal circumstances, they are relatively more free than others, meaning that they're just more liberated than another person who is more bound. And that's all comes down to circumstance, not to free will. It comes down to, well, they are what they are as they are, so they're allowed to experience life or their personal experience in such and such a way in comparison to another who is not allowed to experience life in such and such a way.
But the book is already written.
Yes,
It's all predetermined. They
yes,
don't. They may experience what they think is wider options. You think they have
yes.
more options open to them?
Well, it's just about the personal internalized experience of freedom, right? So they with that personalized internalized experience of freedom, they can blindly assume, oh, I have free will, right? Or assume that all other people do, or whatever they do from such a position. But that
Oh,
person,
I see. Yeah,
you
right.
see
You're
what I'm
saying
saying?
you're saying ignorance is bliss.
Oh, surely for the near greater majority, yes. Some ignorance is surely some kind of bliss because they have no need to conceive of the realities of those who are less fortunate and less privileged than themselves. Um,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. The joy, they actually experience joy because they're ignorant.
Oh
They're
yeah,
ignorant of the suffering of others.
they're allowed to be. They're allowed to be live in their own
Right,
world of personal persuasion of privilege and what have you. Yeah.
right, right. But they don't really have more free will than you do, or I do.
No, I mean
It's their nature.
the
It's
the
their nature.
yeah, and this is why the free will conversation gets so convoluted. It's not talking about what is as it is most of the time. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what you have read on what I've written in regards to that stuff or listened to or haven't, but anyway, if you're interested, I can send you over some stuff as well. But it's the whole conversation is misdirected. It's all people attempting to project onto the totality of reality from their personal subjective position,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so and more often than not, it's people doing so from like a personal condition of relative privilege, in which they blindly assume that the whole world is as privileged as them to do as they do, or what have you. Again, what have you, and so the whole thing's misdirected. They don't see themselves for what they are. They don't see others for what they are, and because they don't see themselves and others for what they are, they don't see any of it as it is. Um,
Right. Right. Yeah. I like the word you use, projection. Have you looked into Carl Jung? Have
hmm
you? Does your
I'm
model have any?
I'm
So
familiar with
you know
it.
Carl Jung and Jungian projection
Yeah.
and Jungian shadow,
hmm
the Jungian shadow work and archetypes.
hmm
it sounds to me like so Carl Jung talks about this concept called archetype possession,
Mm-hmm.
where we so closely identify with an archetype that we embody it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we embody the archetype, synchronicities start to happen to confirm and reinforce the archetype possession.
Mm-hmm.
And just from my perspective, and it could be wrong, it sounds to me like Yahda is an archetype which has possessed you.
Mm-hmm.
There's Patrick, and then there's this archetype. Because the way you describe Yahda as an eternal thing, an eternal entity that existed before you were born and will exist after you die, and you're personifying that now,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds to me like archetypal possession. Have you
Mm-hmm.
looked into what Carl Jung says about archetypal possession?
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with Jung, but
I suggest you look specifically at what he says about
well,
archetypal possession, because
I mean,
that's what, and it sounds like you got that from birth. This is not something you chose,
no.
but it may be something that you can talk about on your YouTube channel and explain this to people,
Well, again,
right?
and something to clarify again is like even the name Yada, or some of these other identifying slogans I've used. Like sometimes I'll say I'm the footstool for the maker, I'm the push
Mm-hmm.
part of piece of God that God pushed out, the one who
Mm-hmm.
knows, the
Mm-hmm.
foundation of creation,
Mm-hmm.
the anchor of time, um,
Mm-hmm.
and the eternal thankless sacrifice for all.
Mm-hmm.
I I use these identifying terms not because they mean anything especially to me. I use them because they simply are metaphor or allegory that comes closest to trying to convey the nature of what it is as I am to another. And
Right, right. But
and that's
Patrick, you need to realize
and
those are
that's
manifestations of archetypal possession.
okay,
Those are all manifestations of archetype.
right,
That's what archetypal
right,
possession does.
but
You start declaring these other names for yourself.
okay, but so what?
An archetype is a constellation of identities.
But I'm curious
We're,
what your point is. If I'm being honest, what's your point?
my point is that
Hmm.
this is an aspect of what's going on in your existence that you
Right.
can share on your YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah.
You have an opportunity to talk about archetypal possession and what it really means so people understand it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I yeah.
The
I
more you're describing what's going on in your life, it
mm,
sounds like archetypal possession, a form of it, especially if they called you Yada from birth.
mm,
And it just seems in harmony with everything else on your YouTube channel.
mm-hmm,
And so it's another, you've got these other names that you've described, right?
mm-hmm.
And this is another form of describing what's going on.
Right. Exactly.
You can honestly say, look at me, I'm Yada. Look at, this is what archetypal possession is.
Right.
You
Yeah, that's
you
interesting.
have
I mean,
personified it,
you and I maybe
right?
could explore that even further in the future if we ever discuss again or something. Yeah.
Well, I suggest just look into it. It's another aspect of the paradox,
Right.
right? And you speak truth to power.
Mm,
You speak truth to your own doubt. You speak truth to your own suffering. You speak truth to your own attempts of denial. You're so self-aware, and you're a fucking survivor. You're gonna ride this out to the end.
Yeah, I have no choice to ride it exactly where it's going.
That's right. And you're gonna ride this thing out until your last breath, until your blood stops in your veins because your heart has stopped. You're gonna ride this all the way to the end.
Hmm. Yeah. What a ridiculous, ridiculous thing this all is.
What do you mean? What do you mean by ridiculous?
Well, just everything. Like I said earlier a little bit, it's like it just gets to the point where even in my inconceivable suffering,
Yeah.
I just look around and laugh and just see the absolute absurdity.
That's the word. It's fucking absurd. It's off the scale, off the meter, absurd. Yes, that's my textbook definition for the paranormal.
Yeah.
The word paranormal to me means absurdity.
Hmm.
And every paranormal story I've ever heard is absurd. Even my own paranormal experiences, when I try to share them with others, they just come across as absurd.
Yeah.
It's like they can't even process it. It's just so fucking absurd. That's what the paranormal is. And all you can do is laugh at the absurd, right?
Yeah, there's no other option. There's no other.
Well, should you laugh or cry, right?
Well, yeah, and I do both, I guess. I do
Oh,
both,
yeah,
depending on the moment.
absolutely. Yep, yeah. You either laugh or cry. There's really no in between. Yeah, I understand that. No one else has walked in your shoes. No one would choose this. No one would choose your life.
No, no,
But
no,
somehow,
no, no,
somehow,
no.
do you feel like you did? Do you feel like you chose this at some point
No.
prior to birth?
No,
No.
no. Not in any true sense. No, no.
This is an experience that was written for you from eternal scribe.
I mean, everything is against my will at all times, essentially. So there goes the free will presumption out the window.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the archetypal possession. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you may have had archetypal possession from birth. I've never come across it before, but it's completely possible. Yeah, it's all predestined.
I mean,
No
yeah,
doubt
I've
about
had,
that.
like weird, I mean, beyond weird shit that people can't even. The entities that I've encountered, the beings
Hmm.
that I've met, the things I've
Hmm.
been called, people calling me a whatever, and
Hmm.
a guru since I'm a kid, like whatever. Who calls a child a guru? Like I don't know. It's just those kind of things are weird. Like and but
Hmm.
because that information is underlying, it is essential to what I am as I am. It is essential to the universe as it is. And so
Hmm.
this information is merely accessed and repeated via the vehicles who do so, by the
Hmm.
people, the characters, whomever. And they're
Right.
speaking it, right? The
Yep.
logos, the
Yeah.
or God, the spoken word of God, right? Or Om,
Yes.
the resonance of eternity, Om, right? Like these are
Yep.
the vibrations, the words spoken, and we are merely the vehicles via which it is made manifest, and
Right.
and then repeat what we repeat due to our own personal nature and necessity, and all that. Um,
Hmm.
and it's all pre-written and being written concurrently. It's
Yep.
both. It's both.
Yep. It's
Um,
iterative. It's recursive.
right, right.
Yep. It's cumulative. Yep. Yep. I agree. Yep. You talk about being a guru as a child. Most people, their story arc is the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell and the
Yeah.
hero's journey. Carl Jung talks about the shaman journey,
Mm, mm,
and the shaman's journey is absolutely horrific
mm-hmm.
compared to in the hero's journey. Metaphysically and metaphorically, they go and they slay the dragon, they get the treasure, they and then they come back right with the treasure. The
Right.
shamanic journey is much more horrific than that.
Right.
In the shamanic's journey, metaphorically, you leave the tribe, you go on a quest, you
Yeah.
go up to a mountain, there's a cave, you light a fire, you fall asleep outside the cave, the fire dies, and while you're asleep at night, the demons come out of the cave and they take you into the cave,
And rape you.
into the total darkness, and they rape you and they cut you up and they dismember you, they torture you in the darkness, in the light, they torment you, they enjoy it, they laugh. It's complete inversion. As good as heaven is, this is as worse as hell is. The lighter things can be, there's got to be a corresponding darkness, right?
Yeah,
So is above, so is below.
they necessitate.
Absolutely. Yes, required,
Mm-hmm.
determined.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shaman at some point survives that.
Mm-hmm.
They put them back together and they walk out of the fucking cave.
Yeah.
And they have no treasure.
Right.
All they have is their embodiment. All they have is their presence.
Right.
All they have is their being.
Right.
And they come down from the mountain, and usually they end up walking into a village as a stranger, as a wanderer. And everyone in the village, it's in the evening and the sun's going down, and they show up, and the people are around the campfire and they offer them some meat or something, and they sit at the campfire around the circle, and they all stare at the fire, and the shaman is there and he tells them a story. He's a storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
A dream weaver.
A dream weaver.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly, I love that, because that's what the source of all is a dream weaver.
Mm-hmm.
One mind, many fractal
Mm-hmm.
mirrors.
Yeah.
And so it sounds to me like you're on the shamanic journey path, not the hero's journey.
Well,
Yeah.
if people genuinely knew but a micro speck of what I've experienced and experience on a moment to moment basis,
Yeah.
they would be destroyed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. They would go insane and tear their faces off.
Yes.
They would
Yes.
be in such horror and fear that it could happen to them.
Yes.
It's beyond them being able to be sympathetic or compassionate
Yep.
or show you any kind of sympathy or compassion at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think your dominant archetype is the prophet, the Gnostic seer on a shamanic journey. That would be my guess. I'm I'm not going to compare myself to you, but that my life arc is the shamanic journey as well. I have been eviscerated. I have had experiences nothing like you. I'm not. What you've gone through is some kind of singularity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully understand it, but
No.
I get it. Conceptually, I get it, but I can't viscerally feel it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's so singular. It doesn't make you superior to anyone,
Mm-mm.
but it does make you insanely unique and
Mm-hmm.
singular.
Correct.
I suspect that if you survive long enough, because most shamans don't make it out of the cave.
Right.
Most of them don't make it out of the cave and make it down into the village where they are able to tell stories around the campfire as a stranger and a wanderer, right? Very few shamans are able to get out of the cave. Most of them commit suicide or die. They don't make it. Um, yeah, it's. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've known people in my life that were definitely on the shamanic journey and are dead now,
Yes.
and they
Me
didn't
too.
end up telling any stories,
Nope.
right? And I don't understand that. I don't understand why everybody doesn't make it one way or another.
Because it's what is demanded of. Yeah.
Yeah, I think nature itself and evolution, it turns over every rock. Every scenario has to be played out.
Yes, for infinitely better and infinitely worse.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Every story must be told to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, no matter how good or how bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You must feel like you're already dead. You're already damned.
Yeah, I am.
It must feel suffocating for you. Like you're barely holding on.
It's horror that I can't even put into words, truthfully.
Yeah, that probably makes you breathless at times.
It does. Yeah, I can barely breathe a lot
Yeah,
of
and
times.
and then you just wake up the next morning and you're the same person.
Worse.
It sucks.
Worse.
Yeah. Right. And all you can do is laugh or cry.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you've at least found meaning in it. You don't feel like this has been meaningless. Or do you feel like it's meaningless?
Well, no, I'm certain there's meaning. It's just that I will never personally benefit from it, if that makes any sense. I'm
Right,
cert
right.
I'm certain that there's meaning to all this or purpose, but but
What would
I'm
what
also
could possibly be the
certain
purpose?
it's for the singular personality of the Godhead to see itself forever.
Can I ask you a personal question? Do you
Sure.
do you feel like you're being observed by non-physical entities?
Oh yeah. And I'm also watching everyone else. I am one of them in a way. In a way.
Yeah,
Um,
because if this is a stage play, if this is a movie, if this is a show, the eternal rule of shows, of movies, is for every actor in the show, there's an infinite number of audiences of
sure.
of of, of people watching.
Of course.
And I imagine that there are a lot of different layers of audiences. It's
I
as
mean,
if you will, it's the Truman Show, right? There's Truman under the dome, right? There's Moses, that's the moon, behind the moon, right?
right.
And his name was Moses in the movie, by the way. That was the
Right.
name of, the guy with the hat that was controlling
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
His
Yeah.
name was Moses in the fucking movie, right?
Right, right.
But yet the entire planet is watching Truman on his own television station,
Right.
right? And it seems to me like you would be a person that has a lot of entities watching you.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
Patrick Show, right?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
you sense that, you can feel it.
Oh yeah. I know they're there.
Do you feel they're cheering you on? They're laughing. They're enjoying the torment.
It depends on
They're
it depends on
sobbing. They're crying.
it depends on their nature. Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. The audiences are diverse,
Yeah,
right?
they're
And
infinitely
they're not
diverse.
even aware of each other. It's like everybody's watching TV in their own bedroom, right, or their own living room, right?
Mm.
They don't have a sense of the entire scope of the audience. So I mean, there could be a planet somewhere where there's a bunch of people that can change channels and watch people's lives on other planets. I imagine that sometime, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that there's a lot of planets where people are actually able to tune into the Earth and watch people's lives and just observe them, right? And they're not aware of everybody else watching. It's not like everybody's in a room watching you. It's more like, and they can tune into you telepathically and experience what you're experiencing. Yeah, if this is a show, it's all about the audience.
It's all about
That's interesting. That
yeah.
it's interesting you sense that. You can viscerally sense it sometimes when you're
Oh
being
yeah,
watched.
I've seen them. I see them. I watch them watching me. I
Yeah, you connect with the audience. You've broken the fourth wall then.
oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've tapped on the glass in the
There's not,
terrarium.
like I said, earlier on, like you go, like there's a wormhole, and then there's eternity beyond the wormhole or something. And like once you've gone,
Yeah.
there's an old saying, like a Buddhist saying, where something it goes along the lines of beyond. I don't know if it's from the Buddha or not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But beyond, so far beyond, and it's because to describe how different reaching the point of the ultimate, so to speak,
Hmm.
is you can only essentially say it in such a way where it's beyond, so far beyond anything
Yeah,
and
it's beyond.
so anything that you might conceive of or consider as a person, a typical person in the machinery.
Yeah, yeah. And you feel like you've been there.
I'm there all the time. There's
Oh,
no
that's your existence.
Yes, there's never a second in which I'm not at the edge of the ultimate. I don't know how else to say it really. It's like
Well, I perceive that there is an edge. There's a blade. There's a razor's edge between chaos and order,
mm,
and that we ride that. We ride that blade between order and chaos, and it's a wave, but it's the frontier between chaos and order. But it's a wave, and the term I use for it is surfing the alien,
surfing
and
the
it sounds
alien.
like that.
Mm,
Say surfing the alien. Yeah. There's
mhm,
actually a song if you go to YouTube
mhm.
called "Surfing the Alien." It's an instrumental guitar, electric guitar song.
Okay.
I heard it once in the 1980s. It's Joe Satriani. It's called "Surfing the Alien." When you listen to that song, you can hear the guitar, electric guitar, laughing at you, mocking you, and just sort of.
You're breaking up a little bit for some reason.
Oh,
Um, you said you could hear it mocking you?
yeah, it's breaking up on me too.
Oh, interesting.
That's really weird. Can you hear me?
Mm. Oh, it's freaking out. I can't hear you. I don't know if you're saying anything.